eyebrows, facial hair. Is that something that people need to groom?
Personally, I do that. Yes.
You
So
actually groom your eyebrows?
I don't, I
Faggot.
don't,
No,
I don't want
I'm,
to.
I'm joking.
Excuse me. My name is Ari. No, but yes, I'd hate to admit it, but I do fix my eyebrows. When I do fix my beard, and that usually comes after a haircut or whatever.
That's fine. And some people obviously have much thicker eyebrows than others. Some people have very bushy eyebrows. I don't. So I've never looked at my eyebrows and been like, yeah, I'm going to start grooming this.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I shave my sides, I cut my hair all off. That's all I do, and I just keep it going.
Well, the thing is,
That's all I
like,
care about.
if you have naturally good eyebrows, you don't need to fix them. But if you have like eyebrows like I do, you're gonna look like a caveman if you don't fix them.
Either way, I'm gonna be ugly as shit no matter what I do. So I mean, I'm fine.
All right, everybody.
That is
Hello,
true.
welcome. This is Unfiltered Pineapple. I am your host, Orik, with my other co-host, Ari and
Hey,
Noodles.
So
Oh, so you have thick eyebrows, Ari. That's what I'm getting across from what you just said. And you take the time.
I
How
do
long does
have
it
thick
take to
eyebrows, yes.
How long does it take to groom them?
So I wax my eyebrows, and they take typically no more than like 10 minutes.
Hold on. Oh my gosh, I gotta start making notes real quick and keep track of all my questions. You keep
Yeah,
going. I have some questions here. I gotta write them down real quick. One
yeah,
moment.
whatever you want to know. I mean, I'll tell you.
How long does it
yeah,
take waxing? Now, how long does it take
Yeah.
to wax? Is this because this isn't tweezers? Don't get me wrong. I know plenty of women and men. I know plenty of people that actually, tweeze their eyebrows, and that's part of their grooming process. I don't do that, which is why this is news to me about you. But you
yeah.
wax. Is this you put a strip down, or is this with a tweezer you're yanking and pulling?
So basically what it is, you put you well first you heat the wax up, and then you would put the wax on the segment that you want to fix. And so typically there's like four segments above the eyebrows, so one on the left and one on the right, and then below the eyebrows, just to get it into like a certain shape. And so you would do one segment at a time. And yeah, like I said, it didn't take more than 10 minutes to do.
No, that's too much, man. I can't do that. I just leave them how they are.
Plus it
That
hurts. So
Yeah, how
Yeah.
routine is this? You said earlier you do it when you get haircuts. So is this like once every couple months, or are you going out and getting a haircut every week?
so I usually get a haircut once every 3 weeks. Sometimes I just wait up to a month before I go for my next haircut, but yeah, it's typically just 3 weeks.
Okay. Um, as I mentioned, I know plenty of people that tweeze their eyebrows. Are you one of those people that are also tweezing, or are you just kind of waxing? Do you like groom the entire outline of your eyebrows, or is it just make sure you don't have a unibrow, strip it off the middle?
Right. So typically I just do like with wax. Sometimes, when wax doesn't come off all the way, it'll leave like, little patches of hair, and then you would have to tweeze them out. But usually I find that, putting wax on and then, taking the wax off is usually enough to fix my eyebrows.
Okay. I, I do have a follow-up question to that. Do you try to stylize them to match the rest of your facial hair? Like if you're going for a thin, say, goatee, mustache, beard combo, do you try and make your eyebrows thin also, or do you try and keep them bushy like normal?
Right, so I don't actually stylize my eyebrows in the sense that, I make them a certain way. I just, clean up the edges of it so I don't look like a caveman. Um and with that, like, if I trim my beard a certain way, my eyebrows are always the same. So it's just a thing of just cleaning it up, not having like, random patches of hair, in your eyebrow, or just making it appear very thick, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, now here's another question. I've noticed that some people, the hair in between their eyebrows it's a little thicker than others. Some people hair doesn't grow there at all, and some people there's hair there that they strip regularly. If you were to leave the patch of hair in between your eyebrows alone for a while, would it form into a unibrow, or does it just not grow enough hair there? But what's that called, the bush above the nose, or
So for me, it would just appear darker. There is no unibrow in the sense that it'll be just one big eyebrow. But it is darker there, and it makes me look like I'm mad.
that's why you want to look a little more
Okay.
presentable for that? Okay. What about you, Noodles? What's your eyebrow grooming technique of choice? What's your eyebrow grooming technique of choice?
If I'm being honest, I don't do anything with them. I literally leave them how they are. The only thing I do is I touch up the sides of my face, I cut my hair, and that's about it. Other than that, I do not mess with any other hair. And
I'm trying to remember now. Did you ever grow like a beard? Because I don't think I've ever seen you with the full beard on.
well, I attempt to grow a beard if you put it that way. Like I don't know why, but for some reason my mustache and my chin hair grows perfectly and it grows into a thick lock. But then on the sides of my hair, it looks like one of those lollipops that you just drop on the floor and it has like the hair all over it. Like that's
Ugh.
yeah, and it doesn't get any better than that. So I just usually just give up after like 3 or 4 months of just praying to God that maybe one day I'll get a beard.
You know what? That's what I noticed with certain beards is that there are like patches of like no hair, and it's
Yeah.
just at like random places too. I mean, like personally, I have like a few patches, but like it's not like terrible. Whereas like there's no hair in it. It's just like is less hair than the normal than the average.
Hmm.
I know plenty of people that just have a lack of a better word, yeah, just a patch that's missing, a spot that's not there, even though everything else is coming in nice and uniform. There's just one spot, like the size of your thumb, just pressed against them where it can't grow.
It's weird because like not trying to get like too weird or anything, but like even like my legs will have like hair, like they full on have like hair, and then there's just that one patch that is just missing, and I'm like, what? So, you know,
Well,
yeah,
that's one image I really wanted is Noodles' legs.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Is this like on the upper thigh, or is this like near your kinkle? Where is this?
Oh no.
Like I would say near my cankle. I would
Okay.
definitely say that.
I was gonna no, I bring that up because that's actually something I've heard from people before. When I was doing sports back in high school and college, there were actually a couple people that would talk about how at the lower end of their leg, close to their feet, but sometimes elsewhere in the leg, but usually it's on the bottom half of the leg that they'll have just random patches that are missing. It's not too uncommon, but to all those people, they would just say, "Look, this is the only one that had this at my old school."
I just now have a question for you, Orik. Like, what sports did you do in high school and college?
Various stuff. Uh,
Uh huh.
I did a lot of running for cross country and track, and then college I dabbled in a few other clubs and extracurriculars. Each one of those is their own conversation, but um, yeah, when you do any kind of sport, you see a lot of people in shorts very often. So you get used to seeing the person in front of you with a patch of hair missing on their quad as, as you're trying to pass them in a race. um, I was not expecting that, Noodles. That was a great comment.
I mean,
Going back to facial hair real quick before we change topics, if we do. I know you mentioned you also not stylize, you grew the rest of your beard, mustache, kind of facial hair. Sorry. Is that, do you use other kind of, what's the term? I can't say makeup. Do you use other kind of cosmetic products or just general grooming supplies, or are you just one of those that gets out of the shower, maybe combs it if anything, and just leaves it at that?
Right. So, I know people that use what do you call it? Like facial cleansers or stuff
Yeah,
to
I can't remember the terms right now. That's why I
right.
was drawing a blank.
Right, I don't actually use them. I only use like a hair pomade, which helps to stylize my hair and to keep it in a certain position. But as far as maintaining my appearance, I only really just trim my facial hair and then also wax my eyebrows. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Gotcha. No, Ari, let me ask you this: are you a hair pattern type of guy? Like, do you like lines shaped in your head? Do you like that stuff or?
So I'm not really a fan of like the types of like, patterns that people would put on their hair or on their head. Just to give you an idea, like a picture of like Kobe Bryant or just like, a number or anything sports related, I think it's kind of silly. But in terms of just like, styling your hair in a certain way, I do have like a high fade. So I would, cut my hair really short, like on the sides, and then just scissor cut on the top.
I got you. Yeah, I'm usually a fake guy myself, but yeah, definitely. Out of the most regretful haircuts I've had, I went into that phase of like hair patterns and by
I
the way,
remember that.
if you ever want any lines in your hair, don't go to hair cuttery because they will mess it up. So yeah, I remember I went through that phase, but that's something I would not want to repeat. I'm just a guy who just likes to just shave his head all around and just keep it going.
Oh
Um,
Lord, can we say that without getting sued? Jesus.
yeah, we're fine. The- he's
Says the
just he's
non-lawyer.
just he's leaving his product review. That's not an actual like legal advice. That was his experience that he's just not putting
Hashtag
on.
legal advice.
Hashtag not legal advice. Get it right.
Ah,
So
gotcha. Yeah.
going back to that question, I'm not really able to stylize my hair with lines and make designs like that. I mean, I probably could if I shaved it a lot more, but when you have a receding hairline, fading's not your first choice in design. Uh, I can't say I have a huge receding hairline, but I'm at that age where it's like, yeah, it's much higher than it was 5 years ago, for sure. Uh, I try to make bangs even longer, just grow it out even longer. I'll go about 3, 4 months usually between haircuts, partly to save money because I'm cheap, and partly because I'm fine with it being a little longer. I don't need to look in a certain way all the time. Noodles, how often do you get haircuts? Because I know you. I mean, let me say that. Do you shave it weekly, or do you just look at it now and then and say, "I'm just going to cut it down"?
I'm usually just a guy where I just shave it all off, and then like maybe like 3 to 4 months after, I'll just go back and get it shaved off again. And I usually try to do it every like month or so, but usually I am just very lazy and I just keep putting it off.
How fast does your hair grow? Because for me, I grow probably. I've looked it up. I grow about the average rate of I think what is it, a quarter inch a month. After a month, it's a full. After a month, I think it's a quarter inch every 2 weeks, something like that. I cut it when it's about 2, 3 inches longer. Um, how fast is your hair grow? For me, that's about 3, 4 months to go about 2, 3 inches of hair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure of the exact like specs, but I will say yeah, my hair grows at a faster rate to where most of the time I do have to get it cut like, every like couple months or so. At least for it to, stay at a reasonable level.
Okay.
Speaking about reasonable level, have you guys like heard anything about the Winter Olympics? Is it supposed to be like happening this year, right? I don't even know what's going on with that.
That starts tomorrow. Or
Oh,
this week, I should say. I should say this week. Tomorrow's Sunday when we're recording
because
this.
I
But
know they
yes,
had something playing on like the local channels with like the X Games and stuff, and that was pretty sweet. But honestly, I don't know anything what's going on now with the Olympics, especially now with COVID. But where is it even supposed to be? Like, I don't even know
Beijing,
where the Olympics.
Beijing.
Oh, okay. Wait, Beijing, like they don't have any mountains there.
Don't have snow either. Yeah, this is the first year that they're actually doing 100% artificial snow for the entire Olympics.
Interesting.
Hmm. So is you say it starts tomorrow? Like, are you guys gonna watch it? Like,
I think it's sometime this week. I look forward to curling.
oh yeah,
May
it's definitely like my favorite sport there.
definitely
Go
a
Team
maybe.
Canada.
Oh, speaking of Team Canada, I did watch a documentary yesterday on uh, Netflix. It's called Bad Sport, and it actually did talk about the scandal back in 2002, where the Canadian couple did like basically a perfect routine for a gold medal and got cheated out for a silver medal because there's a whole conspiracy that the Russians, which they have a very dominant stance in that sport, um, has they've won it for like
So what
I
you're
can't
saying
remember.
is that the referees kind of cheated them out because like the Russians bought them, or how did that work?
So
Judges, there's no referees in.
yeah, yeah, no, it was the judges. So apparently there is like a deal that kind of basically what they suspected is that there was a deal that happened where there's a French judge who was basically the deciding factor that decided in favor of the Russians over the Canadians. And in return, the very next year, when the French um, compete in the event as well, they would score first place. So it was kind of like a you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back type of thing. It's very interesting. I definitely recommend you guys check it out because
And what is it called again?
it's called Bad Sport,
Huh? And it's on Netflix. Okay,
and it's on
definitely will definitely
Netflix.
check it
Yeah,
out.
there's about like six different like scandal stories that are on there. They're really really good. Me and my wife had a really excellent time watching them together.
No, that Olympics also reminds me of hair. And the fact that a lot of these people will do obviously anything they can to win, so they'll shave down their body all the way. The speed skaters, the swimmers,
Mm.
even the bobsled people, a lot of them will just shave all their hair off so that they can lose all the weight and get as much, of an edge as possible.
It
But
sounds like you're fixated on hair.
I'm ready to talk about hair for an hour.
Really?
We don't have
Uh,
to. I'm just
do
bringing
you
it
shave
up.
your body hair?
That's what I was about to ask you guys. Would you, even if you were in the Olympics, would you consider just shaving Noodles? I know this might not be a problem for you to shave your head anyways, but would you shave your whole body routinely just for the Olympics, just to kind of excel in your sport? Or would you just let your hair grow out? Because in football, they let their hair grow out. For example, they have long hair in all those sports. People don't shave in those sports, but when it gets to the Olympics specifically, a lot of people will start cutting back on all the hair on their body. Do you guys do that? I would.
I
Well, the thing
mean,
that comes to mind is that a lot of these athletes do it just to avoid chafing. Because I know that like when it comes
Really?
to like spandex or, tight fitting clothes, like, when you're competing and you're doing like a repetitive activity like for hours on end, yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of chafing. So in that aspect, yeah, like if I had to, avoid chafing, I would definitely shave all my body hair off.
yeah, I'll do it. I mean, winning's winning, baby.
Going back to sports, though, that was the last thing about hair I wanted to mention real quick, because I know it changes between various sports. Going back to the Winter Olympics,
Unfiltered
though,
pineapple also giving you shaving advice.
we can go that far if you want
A
to, but I wasn't
podcast
plan-
about hair.
I didn't plan on doing that today, but if we really want to, uh,
Guys, hit me up on
going
Facebook and Instagram.
back to
Absolutely
the
do. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
uh, no, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I
Oh
wasn't
no.
going to mention anything. Just
Yeah,
follow
Right.
us
same.
on Instagram, our Facebooks, and all that.
Yeah, all those non-existent social media platforms that we use. Got it. Yep. Go ahead. Anyways, going back to the Olympics, do you guys prefer the indoor Olympic sports or the outdoor Olympic sports? Is there any particular game that you prefer over the rest and you don't care about any others, like snowboarding versus curling? You only care about one thing. I mentioned that. I know some people, for instance, I think my mom prefers all the indoor one. She doesn't care too much for like the snowboarding. but she loves the figure skating and what's it called? The ice skating speed racing? What is that? Dang it.
It's probably just that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forget the name. Apollo, where Apollo's doing laps on the ice. Uh, that's an indoor one. What do you guys prefer?
Personally, I like the indoor figure skating. There's some aspect of like talentry, and the competition is really, really tight because in order to stand out in that sport, you really have to stand out. And so, um, personally, I think that a lot of these figure skaters are like experts and they refine their art. And honestly, the figure skating is art in a way. When it comes to snowboarding and stuff, that's very entertaining to watch, but it's just something about figure skating that is just like so captivating. Because like they also have the music playing in the background, and it captivates you. You just want to watch.
You also watch the ribbon dancing at the Summer Olympics?
I'm actually not familiar with that.
Not. All right. Well, look that up on your own time. I like the ribbon dancing, but I really don't care too much for the figure skating. I enjoy it. I don't sit there and go, "Oh, figure skating, I gotta watch." If it's on,
So,
I
so
don't.
what
I don't
what's
turn it
what
off.
what's winter sport do you prefer then? Do you like snowboarding, or
Oh,
what is it that
curling and bobsled. Curling and
curling
bobsled.
and
Those are the
bobsledding?
those are the two big ones for me. But before we go into me, I just had a couple more questions about the figure skating one. First tangent. I'm really good at the figure skating on the Wii with the Mii characters. That's fun. I do all those, flip the Wii remote up at the right time. I like figure skating that way when I can interact with it, but you won't see me on the ice skating rink doing it. But for you, do you prefer the solo or the dual? The what is it? Duets? Is that what they call them? Or where there's two partners?
Yeah, it would be doubles, I believe. But
The doubles. Okay.
yeah, personally, I like I don't know. It's a tough question because I do like both.
Both have their
Um,
own appeal. Yeah, I prefer doubles when I watch. I don't care too much for the solo one.
well, doubles you have the extra, person that you're working with, so it's just a lot more complicated, and just to be able to stay in the rhythm and then catching like the cues from the other skater and just working with it is just amazing to see.
What
Yeah,
about you, Noodles? What do you
if I'm
think
being
about figure
honest,
skating?
if I'm being honest, I'm really not a Winter Olympic person. Like I definitely enjoy the Summer
What summer
Olympics
sports
more.
do you like?
I'm sorry.
What summer sports do you like?
Well, I'm definitely big on basketball when they do it. I love basketball. I definitely love, especially track too. I love all the track um, events and everything. Basically everything in the Summer Olympics. I usually just watch everything. Like I don't know. It's just I
There's one where they have like target shooting. I don't know what the sport is called, but it's
Archery.
interesting. And then also you have javelin throwing and all of
yeah.
that.
And then like and then what is it? The canoe racing. I don't know the exact term for it, but I definitely enjoy that too.
Oh, that reminds me.
Rowing. That's rowing.
Rowing, yeah.
Yeah, rowing.
The canoe racing.
Yeah,
That's
canoe
funny.
racing. That's what I call it.
That's the rejected version. That was the one they did
I
whenever they
love
had
I
to.
love that for that sport. But I was gonna say there was like a country in Africa like where this guy was representing, and he came in dead last, but like the sportsmanship of like the competition is just like even he got like a round of applause once he finished. But like I mean, I guess it's just a sport where you um really have to have the talent to do, you know?
Are you still talking about rowing? You use so many pronouns, I lost track.
Not pronouns, it would be nouns. Pronouns would be like if referring to he or
Yeah,
him.
you said it's and theys a lot.
I'm still referring to the same sport.
Rowing. Yeah, I've never heard of a Jamaican rowing team. That's why I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know about. I know about the Jamaican like bobsledding team. Back in the day.
That's
The
why I got
one
into
that everyone.
bobsledding when I heard of that.
Yeah,
I forget. Are they actually good? I think they were good.
They don't get last.
Well, I
They
mean,
haven't.
that's better. Yeah, that's good, I
Yeah, they
guess. Like,
haven't. They haven't won, but every Winter Olympics, they always get a big round of applause. Like, here's the Jamaican bobsled team! Woo! And, they don't because they can't really practice like some of the top teams do. They don't get first. I don't know if they've medaled. I don't think they've medaled. But I remember last Winter Olympics they got I think like third or fourth to last if I remember correctly. They weren't last, but they definitely weren't first.
yeah, but yeah, it's just a swag that they had that you know that everyone loved about them.
You got finesse. Go in with confidence, knowing they might
the
not win.
colors, yeah.
Hmm.
I mentioned earlier I really enjoy curling. I was actually big into curling before it became like meme culture popular over the last 2, 3, 4 years or so. Back all the way in middle school, decade plus ago, I was just watching curling with excitement. I was like, "Oh boy, shuffleboard on ice! This is exactly what I need to practice when I get old." I also kind of enjoy those, lack of a better word, strategy games. So curling is one of the few, to my knowledge, one of the few sports you're actually just competing one on one with someone in a interactive format. Other sports, yeah, you're racing each other, you're in your own lanes, this is one of the few sports where you can actually just sabotage your opponent or yourself if you mess up, um, because that's the
Right.
point of how it works. That's why I like it. There's a whole. Have you seen how excited they get? They still have four more rocks to throw, and they're like, yes, yes, we pushed it away.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not too big into the sport, but I will say, yeah, when they definitely get hyped when they make a big play, that's when I'm just like, yeah.
it's fantastic. I get into it. What was it back in college? I it was I want to say like May. My roommate came walking in at 2 o'clock. He's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, curling's been on for the last 2 hours. I have not even used the bathroom. I'm enjoying this." So that's one of the few sports I really get into.
I get you. I get you.
If you were to do like a sport, what sport would it be
In the Winter
for
Olympics or in
the Winter
general,
Olympics? Yes,
curling, 100%.
curling. Yeah.
I
Partly
guess if
because
I had, I'm sorry, if I guess if I had to choose a sport for the Winter Olympics, it'd probably be the bobsledding. I think I would have the most fun with that.
it's also one of
That
the
sounds
more
fun. Yeah.
risky. It's also another one of the risky ones because if you fall out or something goes wrong, you can get severely injured. I mean that's how it goes for a lot of these sports. Uh,
Not like I haven't been severely injured before, but
that's a podcast for another time.
Yeah, they
That's
don't they don't know that.
we can make entire podcasts about some people's stories of incidents they've been in, but that's again podcast for another time.
yeah.
Uh, you got me thinking now, Noodles. You really put it in my mind some rejected Olympic sports, canoe racing.
Yeah, canoe racing, roller skating on ice.
Russian
Apparently,
roulette.
this was I wasn't planning on us talking about the Olympics today, but I learned earlier there were some weird Olympic sports. Like what was it? There's an architecture one, like city planning used to be an Olympic sport. Something like I forget the exact name, but it was a you submit blueprints to the Olympic Committee. That's your sport. You design blueprints to make a building, and they pick the winners that way.
Interesting.
But other so what I liked about what you said, Noodles, was that sounded like a rejected sport, something they considered and turned down. One that was accepted was tug of war. Tug of war was in the Olympics back when it restarted in the early 1900s. I think it was like 1896, 1900. They had it somewhere around then. That would be great to see nowadays. That would still be fantastic if they brought it back. Uh,
Right.
I can't. I'm really excited at the idea of thinking of rejected sports, though. Ones that they made it to the final round and they didn't get the rubber stamp to go through. They're just like, no, know what? There's a problem with this. we we can't do this one. Skateboarding was like that for a while. They wouldn't let skateboarding go into the Olympics because they didn't consider it really to be a sport, but now it is in their
Yeah.
eyes.
Speaking of weird sports, um, have do they? I doubt if they still have it, but I mean I could be wrong. Do they still have the underwater hockey games in the Olympics, or did they actually take that out?
I have
I
no
have
idea what
never
you're
heard of
talking
that.
about.
I have never heard of that.
It's just something that I've randomly saw, on YouTube one day, just like footage of underwater hockey, and I gotta say, God, it just looks so like you thought regular hockey was intense. That underwater hockey is like a whole different ball game.
So wait, they're like wearing
Yeah,
scuba suits?
they're wearing like goggles and stuff like that, but I don't think they wear like full on scuba suits, but I do know they, obviously they wear at
Don't they
least
have to
like
go
goggles.
back up for air?
Um, yeah, I believe they do. I believe they do. I just seen like some highlights of it, just like highlights of like goals and stuff. It's just a whole different game.
Are you sure you didn't like see like a parody account of something?
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you Google it, I'm pretty sure that it will come up. So, I mean,
I'm gonna have to Google that. Yeah.
yeah, check it out. Check it out.
I wonder. I don't know if they're ever going to actually really introduce underwater sports to the Olympics. I can see why they would, especially if you have scuba gear and stuff of that sort. But I don't see underwater sports really being something that's going to pick up in the Olympics for
Okay,
the whole world
so
to watch.
just to make sure, like I actually did look it up, and it is a real sport. Is called underwater hockey, also known as Octopush, which is also mainly used in the UK. Is a globally played limited contact sport in which two teams compete to maneuver a puck across the bottom of a swimming pool into the opposing team's goal. So basically, yeah, underwater hockey. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
because like I said, I've seen some highlights of it on YouTube, and it's just something to watch. It's definitely interesting.
I
That
just
is
I like the
crazy.
idea. I like the idea of it. It's exciting, but I don't think it would ever catch on. I can't imagine them being 10 years from now at the Summer Olympics going, yeah, we brought back some more underwater sports. I
Yeah,
don't. Though it does, I mean, if it gets enough of a audience, they'll consider it. They've considered frisbee and skateboarding for years, and they finally put one of those in. So enough of a following, they'll put it in there. It's also hard to really have all these countries train. What do you do with a landlocked country and be like, okay, everybody, we're going to take the community pool and train for the upcoming Olympics in here. Then when you go out to, let's say, China, they might have you actually do it in a lake or in the ocean. They don't necessarily have a set aside facility for these things unless they plan for it a decade or so in advance. You got to get the city space and the plant. It's just a
Yeah,
lot of
that's true.
logistical. It's a lot of logistical issues just to set up an arena for that. They may take the Olympic swimming pools. They may take the ones that they use for water polo. But if you're playing deep under the water for some of these activities, especially if they start introducing scuba gear for some sports, they're going to have to make custom facilities for it, or they're just going to have to take like the Hoover Dam and say, all right, we're playing behind this.
yeah. Can you imagine just like a team just like going to like a DoubleTree or like a Hilton hotel and just stay there overnight and just use the pool every day just to train for it? I'm pretty sure they would just get some filthy looks.
Regarding weird sports again, since we're on this topic, you guys heard of, I want to make sure I get the name right. Yeah, they do have crossover sports like badminton, soccer, where you play badminton and hit a soccer ball, basically. Oh, that's it. Ballooning, hot air balloon racing. That's a sport.
Hot air balloon racing.
Have you
I have
guys
never
ever
heard of
seen
that.
that? You
No.
haven't?
Hot air balloon racing. That's
Especially when
interesting.
especially when hot air balloons first came into existence, well before the Wright brothers took flight. Uh, hot air balloons were transportation, or at least a mode of
Yeah.
entertainment for people. So
I'm
It's
just
like
like trying to imagine like someone, trying to race like a hot air balloon. It's like,
they
Michael,
used to use
Michael,
different kind of
just harder, blow harder.
used to use like coal in the balloon to make it to heat it up faster and burn hotter because the hotter it burns, the faster it can move. You're basically lighting your balloon on fire to get to the goal.
Like, how athletic do you have to be for hot air balloon racing?
So that's why they don't do it anymore. But that's what I'm saying. It's a weird sport. It used to be a sport.
Yeah.
Again,
So I'm
motor.
just
Then
like, I don't understand. Like, I know that there's like a flame involved, and then that's how you control like how it goes up and down. But how do you move like faster? You know, going straight, for example. Like, I don't get that.
hold on. You said how does it go faster? I'm not going to get
Yeah,
into the
like
details of how a hot air balloon works. There's a couple methods. Some of them involve just removing weight, of course. That's why they have sandbags on the sides to help them land and hold themselves down. The other methods include you just blow a hotter flame. So what happens is the hot air expands the balloon because it has nowhere to go. Air keeps pushing it in a certain direction. So if you have all this energy pushing you in a certain direction and nowhere for that direction to go, it just pushes the whole object. Like how if you had a donut, you can blow a hole right through the middle. If there's no hole in the middle, it just keeps filling it up and making the donut swell. It's going to eventually be pushing it in a certain direction because it can't go anywhere. It doesn't have anywhere to leave. That's the layman's explanation that I can offer. I'm not an expert. I'm nowhere near good enough to give you any more details than that. That's the general concept. It fills up with air and then it pushes it in a direction. So if you make it hotter, it expands more because hot air gets bigger than cold air. It's up more space, more dynamics.
that's cool.
You guys ever been in a hot air balloon? I don't think you have been, based on our
And
conversation we just
I
had.
never
Honestly,
plan
I
on
just
it.
know the basics where you light a fire. It's I mean I don't even know, but it's just the hot air is the one that like brings you up and down. I just don't know the mechanics of just like moving laterally, I guess. But I would actually love to be in a hot air balloon. There's like a big like festival of hot air balloons in Albuquerque, called
A
Balloon
lot of places
Fiesta.
have them. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
places, a lot of countries, cities have them.
Yeah, but that was known internationally, and that's like, the big thing is
Yeah, I
the
do know that
Balloon
one though.
Fiesta in
Uh,
Albuquerque.
Hundreds of balloons all up in the air at once. Yeah.
You will never catch me on a hot air balloon ever.
You scared of heights? I caught on to this all of a sudden. You scared of heights?
I have, as long as I had protection, I'm not that afraid of heights, but
So as
I'm
long as you
usually,
have a condom on, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
yeah,
just put
there you go.
put it over my eyes so I don't see what's
Yeah,
going on.
absolutely. Because then at least if I fall, I can just take it off real quick, just inflate, and there we go.
I just hope it doesn't rip. Come on.
You know, condoms don't rip.
You say
That'll be
leather
your like
condoms?
parachute when you fall.
Yeah, would you guys ever go skydiving? Granted,
Oh, that's
real quick before we get on to that, I just to clarify, I have not been in a hot air balloon, but I do want to. Yeah, skydiving.
you were talking a lot of smack for someone who hasn't been on a hot air balloon.
Just because I haven't been on one doesn't mean I haven't researched them or looked into it in the past. It's been a while, but they pique my interest. It's a mode of transportation, and it involves getting up in the air and looking down. That's the kind of stuff I'm interested in.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Anyways, skydiving. What were you about to say before I interrupted? Sorry.
Oh, skydiving. Yeah, I don't know. Like that seems it doesn't seem dangerous because like,
Is.
well, yeah, it is, but like if you don't like if your parachute
First jump
doesn't
like
open.
20,000 feet down in the air. Yeah, it's not dangerous at all. No
Ar-
problem.
Ar- Ari plans on being one of those people that wakes up, it's like, yeah, I bounced off the tree, but I made it. I'm good, coach.
Yeah,
There are
like,
people that have survived that. They are documented stories of people that fell from a plane, parachute didn't open, they hit the ground, splat, and they just get up like, ah, gosh, that hurt.
yeah, I've definitely seen that research too. But going on that subject, yeah, no, I would not skydive at all. Now, funny enough, I would bungee jump, but I would never. I would never. I would never.
So you would
Never
rather
try to.
be attached by a string than to actually jump off and come down in a parachute. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. Exactly. I
Is
don't know.
this
I just had a weird. I just have a weird like thing about bungee jumping, and I've always been interested in it, and I've always wanted to do it.
me too? Me too. I have a desire to do bungee jumping, but how high of a bungee jump would you do? Is this just like I'm only going down about 50 feet and coming back up, or are you talking about climbing the Empire State Building, jumping off, and just hoping you don't hit the ground as the rope keeps falling?
Maybe like half an Empire State Building. I think I'll be
So
at my limit.
off a tall bridge over a valley.
Yeah, I think that would be my limit right there. Anything higher than that, I would probably, just shit and piss everywhere. So,
To be
Are you the
fair, I
kind?
would rather just like skydive than bungee jumping because like one, like once you're done, it's just like you're still hanging there. Whereas like, parachuting is like, yeah, you're done. Like, once you touch the ground, it's like, yeah, you're done. Whether
So
you're alive or dead, that's a different story. But yeah, you're
I
done.
would I would do both skydiving or bungee jumping. But Noodles, my question for you is: when you think of bungee jumping, are you remembering the recoil that brings you back up? Like you don't just go down like, all right, I'm on the ground. No, it's whoosh, you come right back up,
I
and
can
then you got to
definitely
go
remember
down,
that.
and then you got to go down again, and then it's that little
And you
rhythmic
start like
slowdown.
waving.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely aware of that, but
Okay, some people
yeah,
forget about the recoil. Like, oh yeah, we go back up in a moment.
yeah. No, no, that funny enough, yeah, that weird that doesn't bug me, but parachutes, yeah, that's not my game.
There's
I
a
can't do that.
It's the parachute that bothers you, or is it the
Hmm.
actual process of
Interesting.
falling through
It's
clouds and looking at the
it's the
ground get
thought
bigger?
of Yeah, it's the thought of my parachute possibly failing, which I guess a rope on the bungee jump can fail too. I mean, you never know. So
You're
So,
scared that someone might like just puncture a hole right before you jump.
so
either
you're worried
that or
about
maybe in like my
mechanical failure.
yeah, like say like I pull my pin and it's not coming out, and then I'm literally just falling down. Then yeah,
So, Ramen, like, if you don't like parachutes, does that mean you don't like bondage too?
I guess you can kind
Real
of.
quick, for anyone who doesn't know, noodles also goes by ramen noodles. We say noodles for short. But go on.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't. I really don't know about. I really don't know
It's getting
about.
nervous. It's getting
Yeah,
nervous.
I don't know. I really don't know.
You're worried about mechanical failure, not actually the fear of heights. Like if you're gonna bungee jump, you're gonna have to look at the ground, most likely, unless someone's
Absolutely,
pushing
yeah.
you. So you're worried about mechanical failures, such as the rope snapping or the parachute not opening properly. You're not as worried about, oh, the ground's getting closer. That tree has more leaves on it than I thought at first. You're not worried about those kind of thoughts. You're worried about the mechanical aspect of the technology not working.
More or less, yeah. More or less, yeah.
I don't have that concern because if I'm in that situation, I'm not going to be halfway down. I'm not going to be halfway down and be like, oh my gosh, I hope the parachute doesn't work. I'm like, I'm already here. It's either working or it's not. I got to just accept it either way. I chose this path. Uh,
Yep.
it comes down to having accepted death. But not talking about that right now. Yeah, that's why I would do skydiving, though. It's not necessarily fear of mechanical failure or anything, and it's not a desire to have an adventure. But if I'm in that process, then I've already gone through the whole system in my mind of knowing I've done everything I can to make it as safe as I can. So I just have to accept whatever happens. So that's why I'd be interested in doing it. Because by the time I'm in the plane and jumping out, I've already processed everything that has to happen, and I've accepted that that's the next step.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, hang gliding, gliders. You guys use hang gliders and gliders. That's not as easy of a mechanical failure. Noodles. That's not something that the rope snapped. You go out and you just keep going steady until you get close to the ground and just have to come to a stop. You just have to hold
Right.
on if you're not harnessed in, but you got to have that white knuckle grip to make sure you don't come off. Would you guys go hang gliding?
I think I would rather do hang gliding than anything else, really.
Probably out of all of those options, I would probably honestly, I probably would not mind hang gliding at all.
Really, you would pick hang gliding? Oh, yeah, those options. I was gonna list a few more options coming up, but go on.
Well, I mean, it really is. I don't know because I've also seen like videos of like people like jumping off of like the mountains with the hang gliders, and then then it just pushes them like towards like a mountainside, and then crashes into a mountain, and then yeah. But I don't know. Like I guess
What's the appeal? What's the appeal? Why would you rather do a hang glider?
I guess just because you can kind of control where you're gliding compared to just like falling like flat
All
off of
right,
a plane
gravity, do
or
your job.
yeah. But I don't know. I guess it's different when you look at it on YouTube and like see all the different like point of views and stuff, and then actually like getting towards doing it, then you know could be like a whole different thing. But I don't know. There's just a lot of like weird thing. Like there's a lot of like things that I like, and then there's a lot of things that I don't like, and they're kind of almost similar to you know the things that I don't like, which is weird.
What about you, Ari? You were very adamant that you prefer hang gliding over everything else. Why is that? What's the appeal? What's the element
I
that
think the
really stands
biggest
out to you?
appeal, yeah, I think the biggest appeal to that is just having control of, just being able to do what you want with that. Bungee jumping, you don't have any control. You're just like dangling. Whereas like, parachuting, you have somewhat a little bit of control. And then hand gliding is like, yeah, I'm in complete control. Like, I will be running off and jumping off, basically.
So
And
what?
I can steer this, easier than I would imagine like a parachute. So yeah, I would definitely do like hand gliding versus anything else.
I'm excited about hang gliding also, like I am for all of these. I think I would prefer to do bungee jumping first. I guess that would appease any concerns I have about how I would be in that environment where I'm just free falling per se, and then I can go into the hang gliding element and work my way up to skydiving because I think skydiving is more expensive than hang gliding. But anyways, if I were to do them, I would do them all, but I probably would start with bungee jumping because that's the easiest, and then I'd do hang gliding because I get more of that personal element of control. Then skydiving seems interesting, but then to me, I'm sitting there like, all right, yeah, for 10 minutes, I'm just watching the ground get closer. Uh, not as much going on because you're not seeing as much anymore. You're seeing less, or at least more detail. What about a blend of all of these? Would you guys have you been parasailing? The boat's driving you on the water, and then the parachute lifts you up, and then you're in the air. So you have a mix of control, no control. You're not too high up, and if you crash land, you're just gonna get uh, uh, yeah, it's like a belly flop. You're just going to get a red line across your body. Uh, what do you guys think about parasailing? You done that? You interested?
I haven't done it yet, but I was interested once, but just, having control of time and just it just kind of slipped away from me, but that's something that is on my to-do list is to do parasailing because like growing up like I didn't have like adventurous like parents or anything, and so like stuff like that wouldn't be like something that we do. So now that I'm like older, I can do that stuff. So yeah, I would definitely do parasailing.
Bills?
I
Yeah,
mean,
noodles.
I mean, I wouldn't. I guess I wouldn't mind that compared to the other two things because hell, if at least if I crash, at least I'm going to be in the water. So I mean, I
You
guess I have
swim?
some sort of. Oh yeah, I taught myself how to swim. Funny enough, like even the
Okay.
YMCA couldn't do that, but But I don't know. I would also be like the jerk, like driving the boat and just changing rapid directions just to test and see if you can hang on.
I'm curious now, real quick. I got to go on tangent here. What was the YMCA doing wrong that you yourself were able to figure out? Was this like you filled your bathtub up with water and tried to hold your breath and feel better about it? Or were they not giving you the right floaties at the YMCA? What was going on?
I guess they just didn't have the
How long was this process? How long did this take you? Was this like a month-long thing, or did you show up for one day and give up?
It was like I think it was like a whole month if I'm not mistaken, and I guess whatever that they were just teaching me just was not going well. And then I remember
It
like
just wasn't clicking. Keep your head above
it,
water. It just wasn't
yeah,
clicking.
yeah, it just was not clicking. And then funny enough, one day I was on a family trip in Virginia Beach, um, and literally like my cousins, they know how to swim, and they ended up jumping in the 8 foot section, and I basically one day out of the blue I just did a YOLO and just jumped in there, and all of a sudden everything just started to click, and I don't know,
Sur-
it was just some sort of like weird
Survival
magic.
kicked in. That wasn't you
Yes,
figured it out. That was survival instinct
survive.
saying, "Oh, I can do it. This is how I keep afloat."
Yeah, so I guess it's the fear of drowning and dying that
Death, yes.
at a young age that just taught me how to swim one day, and ever since then I just I knew how to do it.
So what I
Well,
hear from
Noodles, you only
you,
YOLO once.
it's in
I
the
yelled,
name, yes.
I yelled
What
once.
I'm hearing from this, what I'm hearing from this is the YMCA didn't do a good enough job because they didn't simulate enough death for you.
No,
Kept you too
yeah,
comfortable and relaxed. They were
yeah,
supposed to really scare you more. Is that what I'm getting from this? More trauma?
yeah, exactly. Like and so just like helping you float, and just gliding you away. They're supposed to just push you down in the water and just just go away and just see if you can do it. If not, then they just toss you out. I
So
mean,
then,
simple as that.
so then, with that mindset, if you're in a plane, they push you out and they say you'll figure out how to make the parachute work. Are you gonna pull it right away, or are you gonna give it some time? And be like, all right, now I'm getting too close. I'm gonna pull it.
How would you
I
know though?
I'd probably be the guy to pull that shit like immediately. Like
You
I'm
get
not gonna
sucked
have.
into the plane's engine.
God, are you trying to predict my fucking future now?
No,
Rest in
I
peace.
just like the idea that you put yourself unintentionally in a traumatic position. Like, hey, I can do what I'm doing now. But any other situation, like I'm gonna avoid any trauma like I can.
I already learned once. I'm not doing it again.
And he already used his one YOLO. You only get
Yeah,
one.
that's a once in a
That's right.
lifetime YOLO. Yep.
Once in a
That you get
lifetime yellow.
Yeah, you get one. That's the lesson I learned today. You get one YOLO, unless you're waxing your eyebrows. You get many YOLOs there. You can try as much as you want. Parasailing. I haven't done that. Partly because I'm not really a big beach person, and I know you can do it at lakes and stuff. I'm just not a big water person. And that's not to say I don't enjoy going to the beach, walking in the water, playing out there, picking up shells, all that stuff. Get on boats and fishing. When I think of recreational activities I want to do, they're never water oriented. So I haven't had the opportunity yet to go parasailing, even though I've been in canoes, in kayaks, and as I mentioned, fishing and other stuff. So it is something I also have on my bucket list, but it's not something I see myself doing in the near future unless someone says, "Hey, we're going parasailing. You want to join us?"
Right. I mean, I'm kind of with you though. Like, I'm not really much of a beach person per se either. I mean, I don't mind going to like Virginia Beach or Myrtle Beach or whatever, but I will say going to Tampa, in April, that shit is just a whole different, it's a whole different caliber of like just sun kicking your ass. And usually, me being Hispanic, I could usually take sun pretty well.
Hmm.
Not in Tampa. Tampa was just it was horrible. I had the worst sunburn ever,
Ooh.
and it got to the point where like my wife couldn't even cuddle with me in the hotel. Like I literally had to tell her to just get the fuck away from me like every single
Ooh.
time.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good time.
No, but then
Sorry. Go ahead,
Yo.
Noodles. Go ahead, Noodles. Finish up.
I was gonna say then again I did use sunscreen, but I probably used some cheap ass sunscreen. But either way, yeah, that sunburn was just that shit was just no fun. But yeah, go ahead, Ari. Sorry, I keep interrupting, guys.
No, I was
Ari,
just saying that wasn't a good time. No.
All right, I was going to ask you real quick. I know you do personal grooming. Have you ever tried doing that while you had a sunburn, or do you ever just wait for the sunburn to go? How much do you sunburn? Is it bad? And then have you ever tried doing your personal grooming while you've had a sunburn? Because when I've had sunburns that'll last a week or two. And obviously sometimes that's right
Mm.
when I'm about ready to get a haircut or do some personal grooming, trimming my uh, facial hair and stuff like that. Have you had that experience? Where you had a sunburn. It's like, well, I'm supposed to, clean my eyebrows today or shave my beard or whatever it is. What's your experience
Right.
with
So I
that?
haven't actually had a sunburn since I was like a child, really. Because I do like cover up and also I use sunscreen.
You too.
So I don't actually I don't sunburn. So but if I
Get
do
the.
like get into the sun, like, I don't do like eyebrows before like going out into like the sun or anything like that.
What about you, Noodles? You ever try shaving your beard or anything, or shaving your head after you've had a sunburn?
Honestly, besides that, like I said, besides that one time I told you about in Tampa Bay, usually I can tough it out because usually I can get like visual sunburn, and it usually will not hurt. This is the first that time was the first time I've ever had a bad enough sunburn to where I literally could not do anything. Like I couldn't even lay in the bed correctly either. So
I laugh not out of oh that's awful for you. I laugh out of empathy because I burn.
Yeah, that was very empathetic laugh of you.
It is. I burn so easily. I burn just walking out to the mailbox. I am.
yeah,
So I know exactly what it's like to have sunburns and to have to shower with it and everything weeks later. I wasn't
So
talking
Noodles,
about.
was that like your first time ever getting like a bad sunburn, or did you like get
yeah.
sunburned before?
I've been sunburned before, but this is like the first time where I actually have suffered like that stereotypical like
Oh, you look like a
sunburn.
lobster, huh?
I did. I'm
You
not
get the
gonna
Yeah.
lie,
cracked
I did.
skin, the
And
cracked
then
skin and the blisters.
yeah, cracked skin and like even like
Ooh,
when I
that's
would
really
take like
bad.
and then when I would like
You
take
got the
shower.
sunburn blisters too.
Yeah, and then even like when I took showers and all, like there's just layers of skin just like coming off, and
Oh, that's the
shit was
fun
just
part.
yeah. Like I probably got like I would say like maybe a 2-3 inch ball like just of skin just like fell off like in the shower. Like it
Is
was
its
just
it is its own experience to watch your skin rip off your body while you're showering, and then when you step out and you have all this new layer of skin sitting there on your body, oiling up, getting all ready to go. It starts cracking from the air. There's no more steam to keep it calm, and it starts cracking because the sunburn's deep. Oh, that's a painful sensation. That's a wonderful sensation. That is something that you live once through, and you're like, man, I know better next time. I've had
absolutely.
that multiple times. That
Yeah,
is,
speaking like an expert there, yep.
Yep.
gosh,
So,
that always makes your toes curl.
yep. So that's one thing I learned: do not go to Tampa Bay.
Gosh, I hate the idea of going to Florida just because of the amount of sunlight there is. It just doesn't do me well.
Yeah, no, because what I do,
Intensity of the heat.
yeah, because like even just checking the weather, you know, so yeah, just checking the weather, it's just insane. Like, we're sitting here like, one day it's like 50, then it's like maybe like 30 or 20, then the next day it goes back up to 50 and then it goes back down to like, 20. In Florida, that shit is just consistently in the fucking like 60s, 70s, like no matter the
80s,
season.
90s, all day, all season. Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds
Oh,
nice about now. It's cold where we are right now. I don't know if
speaking
that's
of
like a big reveal of our actual recording location.
speaking of locations, the Richmond area is not famous for getting a historical amount of snow. You guys may not have experienced this. You can get sunburned while there's a lot of ice and snow around. If you go out there, the snow reflects all the sunlight from the sky, and you can get sunburned playing out in the snow. Did this not happen to you guys when you were younger in school, you went outside when it snowed during a snow day, and you came back in and you were sunburned the next day or that night? Did you not have that problem?
I think
Oh,
I had my face be red, but I think that's mostly just from the cold. I don't think I've ever had any issues with sunburn in the winter.
I
I
wouldn't say
mean,
like
we both are Hispanic, so
I know,
we
I was
aren't
about to
like
point
fair
that out.
skinned.
You're not, yeah, you're not as unlucky as me.
yeah, I wouldn't say like sunburn per se, but sinus drainage definitely is like a fucking bitch, especially living in this damn state.
I've multiple times. I'm the kind of person that goes out when it's the middle of winter. There's snow on the ground. I go out there in flip flops, shorts, and a t-shirt because I enjoy the weather like that. If there's wind and
Interesting.
whatnot, I'm not going out there in flip flops. Yeah, after the snow, when there's a fresh layer of snow and the wind's not blowing the next day, many pictures my family has of me. I'm out there in shorts, t-shirt, and flip flops. I never wear flip flops unless there's a fresh layer of snow. That is where I'm most comfortable and enjoying the weather. And I come back in and I'm sunburned. It's not cold. It is sunburned because of all the sun rays, all the light reflecting off the snow and the ice. Uh, that's why I was thinking about that because that's actually when I've had some of my most severe sunburns because I forget to put on sunscreen before I go play in the snow.
So you have to put on sunscreen like year round, basically.
I do, yes, I have a problem.
Hmm.
It's, it's called not having, what is it, melanin? Uh,
Yeah.
I don't have enough melanin in my system. It is what it is, especially considering I go outside as much as I do. But
I would
you know,
make a white joke,
I'm
but
also at the. Was that?
I said I would make a white joke, but I'm kind of half white, so I can't make that joke.
What was the
Oh,
joke? I want to hear it.
Uh,
talk to us afterwards if it's not good enough.
Oh no.
yeah,
Let
yeah,
us know
we'll
after we're done.
keep that for another day.
That'll be for episode 47.
That's for
Episode
the
47.
that's for
Yeah.
the members only section.
Yep.
Oh, the Patreon. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
VIP.
we're setting up a Patreon. Did you know? Just for this joke.
Yep.
$2 a month just for this one joke. No.
Yep.
So going back to sunburns real quick, you guys don't have this problem. Do you ever put on sunscreen then at all? Or do you just tan? I don't tan, period. This is probably made evident by what we've said so far. I don't tan. Uh, so I don't know how to relate to it. But
I
what
have
is it?
like a Yeah, I have a technique for the summertime. So, usually I'm not out in the sun for too long anyways. If anything, I'm just like doing stuff like in the shade or whatever. But I mean, right in the spring, as like it starts to get hotter and stuff. Like I am out more often, and so I progressively get tanner, and then like that helps like during the summertime because like now I'm just like, all right, I'm not like gonna burn now. So like, and honestly, I haven't burned since like childhood. Like it's been a long while.
Yeah. Usually, I just put sunscreen on if I definitely know if I'm going to be in the sun for a long time, like in the beach or, something like that. But I mean, other than that, I really don't. Um, like I'm not going to like, ride on my motorcycle one day and then like put sunscreen on because, it doesn't really work that way for me.
But it is yeah, like just to reiterate, like I don't put sunscreen on when I'm doing like stuff outdoors. But if I'm going to like somewhere like the beach, yeah, I put sunscreen on.
Yeah, that's the only time I'll ever put it on.
I
Or
used
it's the
to.
only time I ever need to put it on.
I'm in an interesting predicament because when I was younger, I would only put it on when I was going, swimming or extended period in the exposed sun. But now that I'm older, I've realized, and it might just be I didn't pay attention to it or I pushed it off, but I realized I have to put on sunscreen to mow my lawn. Because if it is 100 degrees outside, I am putting on jeans and boots and a long sleeve shirt that covers up my neck so that I can only so that I only have to worry about putting sunscreen on my face and my neck itself. That way I don't get sunburned while mowing my lawn for 30 minutes. I have a problem. It's something that only I noticed started happening the last so many years. It might be because I did cross country and track and I was outdoor all the time in high school that I just didn't notice because I took it in doses. But I'm not doing that as much nowadays, so it might just be a lot. That might be why I get sunburned much faster. I'm not having as much of a steady, healthy dose of sunlight on my system.
Sounds like a bad problem to have. Sorry.
Oh, it is. I realized I scared you guys, made you stop talking at that one. Got many more sunburn stories to hear. All right.
Do you ever like just suffer from PTSD from all those sunburns? Or
No, they're fun. I can't. So fun might not be the best word, but I like to use that word. They're fun because they're an
You get
experience.
turned on by sunburns?
yeah, is this
No,
like an orgasmic
sunburn-
thing for you, or
Yeah, I didn't say.
I mean, like, fun isn't the correct word. All right, then what is it? Like, is it enjoyable? Is it pleasurable? Like,
Or you
what do you,
just-
what do you?
or
Why do
you're
you
just used to it?
associate fun? Why do you associate fun with pleasure? No. Let's. I want to hear this one, Ari. Why is for you anything that's fun has to be pleasurable? I could have fun with
Well, I
something that's
mean,
not
just the
pleasurable.
way that you were
I could
describing
have
it,
fun.
it's just
I
like
could have
the
fun
direction you were going.
reasons. This is not orgasmic. This is not. This does not make me horny and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a sunburn today and feel the skin crack. No.
I mean, some people, like, when they're describing something that's painful but also fun, I mean, you would start to think that they were maybe, like, getting pleasure from it. Who knows?
What are you gonna make like a Pornhub channel with fucking sunburn now? Like,
Oh, God.
is this where we're going?
Actually, you make it sound like I'm starting to scare you with all my whiteness. No. What's going
Starting
on?
OnlyFans.
Probably. No. So what happens is when you go through it enough, you have a process to prepare for it and to cope with it when you get sunburned. So nowadays, if I get a sunburn, it's not dark red severe, but it'll be there for a couple days. But I don't get to the point where it cracks. I'm just red. When you have those experiences where your whole body's cracking, and not just like, oh, my arms, your back is cracking, every single inch of that's peeling off, your chest is cracking, every bit of that's peeling off, your whole arms, your legs, your neck. It is
Are
an
you, like,
experience.
fully exposed in the sun? Jesus.
If you're outside and you're just in swim shorts, yeah. You don't have a
Do
tank
you,
top
like...
or a shirt on.
Oh, God. Now I just imagine you in, like, shorts, like, mowing your lawn.
I said I do it in long sleeves. What do you? Of course. I said I cover up. I'm in shorts the rest of the time. If I'm wearing jeans and a long sleeve shirt in summer, I'm doing yard work.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I see this. Yeah, like I know every time I go to I know I go to Orik's house and I see him doing lawn work. Yeah, I mean he's dressing like he's about to go up a fucking Mount Everest or some shit. I mean he's just fully like fucking covered in all that shit.
yeah. I don't. I know how to prevent getting sunburned, but in those experiences where I've had those deep, cracking sunburns, it's a fun experience in that it's not something you experience on a normal basis. It's different. It's exciting in the element that it's not routine. That makes sense? That's what
Yeah.
makes it fun. It's something that I now have to learn to deal with, comprehend, process, and resolve. It's a new challenge that I have to approach. That's what makes it fun. I like challenges. I like things that are exciting and different. So,
Sounds like you need a hobby.
God,
Because that's not, that is not
again,
enjoyable. How is that fun?
getting a sunburn is not a hobby from the past
It is for you.
experiences I've had.
It is for you.
But what I'll say to it is, you don't really understand what it's like to have a sunburn until you have to reach back there and peel off a 3-inch strip of skin from your back because you can't bend forward to take off your shoes. Or you can't put a shirt on because all those microfibers in the shirt catch onto every single cracked crevice on your back and your chest and your arms.
Yeah.
It is an experience to have to feel every movement of your body be so calculated to prevent any more ripping, tearing, and pain. That's what makes it fun. It is a challenge to have to act as though you can't be normal. It's like if you lose your
Unfortunately, Yeah, and unfortunately, I have felt that pain after coming back from Florida, and after
Yeah,
that,
what was it like putting a shirt on? You did not like it, did you?
no, it was fucking horrible. Like I couldn't even, I literally couldn't even like sit back on
You
the
can't lean
airplane
back in the
seat.
chair. You can't turn to the side and look around. You can't move. You can't roll your
Like,
shoulder. You can't. Exactly.
yeah,
You
like I
learn to
can't
live a
even.
different way.
And then imagine like being in a fucking airplane where like the shit is like taking off and it's putting you in your seat and you can't
And it's
fucking
bouncing
bring yourself
around and
out of
everything.
it. God, that shit was the fucking worst.
Oh, we're
And
hitting some turbulence. God, mother.
God damn it. Ah, but yeah, it was just.
But you see what I
At,
mean by it's fun. You have to learn to live differently. It's like if you lose your right arm for an accident, you have to learn to live without your arm. It's a fun experience in that you have to learn something all over again, but it's not a fun experience in the fact that you no longer have an arm. So that's more of an extreme example, but that's what I mean by it's fun. It's an experience. It teaches you to have to be a little bit more resourceful, conservative with how you act.
it just taught me never to go back to fucking Florida again. That's the only thing it taught me to do.
You don't have a repeated problem like I do, though. You're not like routinely. You don't have like a chronic condition of going to Florida.
Well,
I
yeah,
have a
I mean,
chronic. I have a chronic condition of not enough melanin.
I have some sort of fucking Hispanic in me, so I mean that's what kind of like gets that away from me. So I mean, usually most of the time my Hispanic side is kicking in, but when I was in Florida, that was my white side, and
I've never imagined hearing that phrase. My Hispanic side kicking in like is some sort of motor.
Hold on, I forgot to flip the switch. I'll be right back. Let me go inside real
Hold
quick.
on. Yeah, I'm not Hispanic enough. Let me just flip the
uh,
switch here.
yeah, let me Control Alt Delete Task Manager in Task. All right, here we go.
Let me go into the bathroom and put on my cosmetics and
What's
makeup. So
up,
I'll get the
SA?
Hispanic back.
Yeah, I just go from hey, how you doing, sir, to que hora ese, que
Yeah.
ocha.
Oh, real quick, while you brought that up, before we started this, Ari had mentioned Noodles that you have what Ari calls your white guy voice.
Oh
When
yeah.
he hears you at your job, uh, when you're at your job, apparently you use a different voice than you do as you were talking to us this whole time. Uh,
No, like okay, so I heard him. So I heard you, Noodles, like you were talking on the phone with your supervisor and your voice like completely changed. Like you changed from Noodles to Mr. White Guy 101. It's just like holy fuck, like how do you do that? Like I don't even know if you
YMCA can't
notice it.
YMCA can't teach him to swim, but the government can teach him to fix his voice.
Wait, what are you talking about? Can you remind?
I was just as
He
confused.
was
This is
not
what I'm saying.
expecting that
I
question.
was just as confused. That's why I had to bring it up because you just mentioned something that reminded me of that conversation we had.
Can you bring that story up? Like,
Okay, all right, so specifically we were coming back from Norfolk and like the snow was coming down and you got a phone call from your boss and you were telling him that you were going to show up that day. And that's the conversation where you're like we were just talking normally in the car and then your voice just changed when that supervisor called you, man. Like and I'm just here like stunned. I mean,
Oh,
like,
sir, thank you for
I don't
calling.
think
How can I help you?
Oric noticed it, but you
Yeah,
definitely
I was in the
changed.
car. I remember this day. I don't remember the conversation, but I remember this day. The three of us were in the car in the snow. Yeah.
well, I mean, I guess there. I really don't know
And
how to
just
explain
so
this.
that everyone knows,
Oh,
like, this is
gosh,
Noodle's normal voice, but like
gosh,
when he changed like to talking to your supervisor, it just went like Mr. White Guy 101, and I was
yes,
like in
yes,
shock.
I remember this. We talked about it too, because now they reminded me what day it was. I remember the conversation. I was sitting here like I thought you were just talking to Noodles on your own. I remember this day now because I was the one driving. Uh, yeah, we just started laughing like, "Wow, Noodles, you just changed hardcore." Like I just pulled over on the side of the road and picked up a stranger.
The
Something happened.
craziest part though is that Noodles, you
Can't
didn't
believe I
even
forgot that.
notice the change. Like you were just like, oh yeah, like it just was like bam, like white guy. We were in shock, bro.
Well, I mean,
Explain.
I mean, you gotta be somewhat professional to your boss. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and be like,
Yo, what's
hey,
up, Holmes?
yeah, what up, homie? You need me to come in? Yeah, I got you, bro. All right, man, cool. Yeah, like I'm not gonna do that shit, but
What are you talking about? I do
No,
that
the
with
thing
my
is,
own
like, you
boss.
changed
I
your
do that with my own
voice.
boss. Yeah, you change your voice. I do that with my own boss. I'll change the way I speak to be a little more informal or formal, depending on the situation. But no, you changed your voice, accent, and everything. You lost an accent that day.
uh, maybe, yeah, I really did not know because now I'm starting to remember the day that it happened because I remember, yeah, it was snowing. We were, and for all you guys, I used to do emergency dispatching. So, usually I had to respond to work in that shit. But I remember because, it was snowing. They asked me to come in. And then I said, yeah, why not? I need the overtime. But then driving down the lovely roads of US 460, that changed really quick, and we were like, "Yeah, we can I can't come in, boss. I can't do this shit." So, and then
They
we
didn't
ended up turning
prepare
back,
Not with that
context.
voice.
For context, they didn't prepare the roads, so it was just a giant layer of ice and snow covering everything.
which is sad because what I dispatch is people treating those fucking roads.
Exactly.
So,
The irony. Can't get
exactly,
in. I can't get in there because I didn't do my job earlier.
exactly.
I just like the idea of that the YMCA can't teach you to swim, but by God, you're gonna have the right voice when you talk to your boss, no matter what.
You know, I'm really going to pay attention the next time my boss calls me because I really don't notice that shit at all.
We're gonna have to record you once you get like a phone call from your boss
Please
because
Sorry,
do,
like
D.
please
it's
do.
just it
I
is
am
night and
entertained by that.
day. It is night and day. You become like I don't fucking know, Joe Smith. Like that was amazingly, stunningly. It deserves an Oscar. Like I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to record that shit. I definitely need to check that out because I never really noticed that at all.
Ari, you don't change your voice or the mannerisms in which you speak when you talk to your boss. It's just a Noodles thing.
No, I just think of myself like when I talk. I definitely just have my white voice the whole time.
You
I
also
don't
have a
think
white voice. Is this your white voice? You're trying to be polite and presentable.
I always have a white voice, but yeah, it is.
Okay. I also have a white voice all the time for anyone who couldn't tell. But
Right.
this is instinct. This is natural. I don't I don't practice this one. This is just it comes to me. All right. Well, we went on a few tangents, but I think overall we had a good conversation about facial hair and sunburns. That's ultimately what it came back to for most of this. A nice little tangent.
This will be the sunburn episode. Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I didn't go through all my stories,
Yeah.
but I'm fine with that.
Hey,
So, everybody,
It was good
have
talking to you, boys.
hold on, Noodles. What were you
Oh,
saying?
what?
do what?
You
You
were
said
trying to
something,
speak,
Noodles?
and I kept speaking over you.
Honestly, I don't even remember, but
All
we're
right.
just
Well,
gonna end on
anyways,
that shit.
all right, we'll stop talking. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. This has been
Yeah, thank you.
Unfiltered Pineapple. I have been your host, Orik, joined by Ari
Ari.
and Noodles. And we thank you guys for joining us. We hope you look forward to other content that we let go and let out. Other than that, have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. And yeah, signing off. Ari and Noodles, you guys can say your farewells.
Bye.
Remember, shave good and keep away
It's
from sunburn.
shave good. Is that proper
Uh,
English?
don't go back to that haircut place that Noodles mentioned. That's an awful place, according to him. So, all right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.